The Waldorf Middle School curriculum, like all of the curriculum, is based on who is the child at this time. So who is a middle schooler and how do we understand that and how do we base the curriculum on that? And middle school is a time where students are ready to check out, actually. They are really having trouble being in their body and they're having trouble being in their brain. They really want to talk to each other, they really want to be in relationship with each other, and they want to be out in the world. They're just busting to do that. So we have to bring the world into them.
I remember middle school having a lot of the difficulties I hear about other kids having. You know, your social dynamics are changing a lot. You're sort of searching for an identity in the school. You're older than everyone else. You also have this new appreciation for all of your skills and knowledge. But at the same time, the academic life is becoming more complex. It's becoming more demanding.
If the education meets you when you're having this tumultuous life of emotion, of feeling, you really feel like, oh, this isn't so bad. The rest of the world kind of goes through this too. I'm all right. It's okay to have these strong feelings and emotions.
You give them interesting things to do, you give them meaningful things to do. And that's what the whole curriculum is based around. How can we keep them engaged and excited?
I remember coming back and having a history block about Egyptian civilizations, which was just fascinating. It really lit fires in my imagination. I also started doing woodwork. We started doing more advanced handwork using sewing machines. There were a lot of activities, and I think as a boy coming into middle school, that really felt very satisfying.
In the 6th grade, we start studying physics directly. We begin with sound, and then we go to light. And for example, what we do with light is we begin with darkness, and then bring in a sunrise or light a candle in some way to have them then experience light in a new way. We then study heat by finding out what heat is experienced like with various liquids and heating metals. And then we begin with the history of electricity. And with the history of electricity, it goes back to Thales, the ancient Greek, who began rubbing amber on wool. And that's how we start to show this mysterious quality of attraction that comes with electricity. In the 7th grade, we take electricity then into the history of the battery and show how Volta then began to make the world's first battery. And so we make a battery using the tongue of a student and 2 different metals and show that this creates a current. Then we make what's called Volta's crown of cups, where we put an electrolyte, which is salt water, and we wire them together so they experience, and they have taste electricity, then they feel electricity, they see it coming through the battery. So what this does is give the students a special understanding about where technology came from. Tracing electricity then into the 8th grade, we can then build an electric motor, which each student then builds a motor and sees how that power then comes into this. Then we create motion through the power of electricity. And so through the study of the life of Nikola Tesla, who invented these things, then we can see something from the history of science that gives them an orientation into the world that they live in.
So when we think about our daughter's grade school teacher, so Mr. Montashevich has become not only a wonderful teacher, but also a family friend. And it is like we have a third parent. And I know that is a lot to say, and certainly my wife and I have the primary role in raising our child. But there is an intentionality and a consciousness to how Todd taught the class that we very much appreciated. So as we entered 6, 7, and 8 grades, it was just a further confirmation and illustration of the Waldorf philosophy, and really a confirmation that we made a great choice.
Peer pressure comes from vulnerability, and so what we have to do is build up their confidence in themselves and their interest in their peers. And we build that confidence by having them accomplish so much. Our students can speak a foreign language, they can play several instruments sometimes, they can draw and paint, they can crochet and knit. So by the time they come into middle school, they have a sense of I can do, and that sense of I can do really helps them have a sense of what do I want to do, not what do others want me to do.
That attitude, that habit of thought and action and feeling then becomes just a way of meeting the world that you, of course, everything you encounter, you can learn more about it and you can react and interact with those people, those situations.
So one of our ways of measuring our success is that they say to their parents, I'm so glad summer's over. I can't wait to get back to school.